I thought maybe I could get through it, but I was
Good evening and welcome to the Port Clinton City Council regular meeting. Today is October 10th, 2017. Please stand and join me in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance, the Lord's Prayer, and taking a moment of silence for our military, veterans, and first responders. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Thank you. Before we begin this evening, Mrs. Pipperly is not with us.
Madam President, I move that in place of Ms. Pipperly, that Councilman Sardi take over for the evening for the duties.
The motion to appoint Mrs. Sardi as temporary clerk. Do I have a second?
Enthusiastic second, Madam President.
And thank you, Mr. Bealow. All those in favor?
Aye.
Mrs. Sardi, thank you. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Mr. Bealow?
Present.
Mr. Trolley?
Present.
Mrs. Gilman?
Present.
Mrs. Phillips?
Present.
Mrs. Hickman?
Excused.
Mr. Friedman?
Present.
Mrs. Sardi? Present.
Council, you received no meeting minutes for approval this evening. The chair notes that certification has been received regarding compliance with the rules and notification of this meeting. This evening we have three guest presenters with us. We have three members of the United States Coast Guard Port Security Unit 309, Captain Matthew Wadley, Lieutenant Commander Robin Swain, and Master Chief Andrew Mowry.
Thank you, President, and members of Port Clinton City Council and city officials. I'd like to present and read a certificate of appreciation. And a little bit of background: we're a reserve unit. A little more here in a moment. But one thing that is overwhelming for us, because we come from different regions. I myself am from California, and Lieutenant Commander Swan, my executive officer, is from New York, and our command master chief is from Wisconsin. We show up in Port Clinton on a monthly basis. Right now we're here full time for a period of time before we deploy for a mission overseas. But we're just overcome with joy from the kindness and the loving spirit the neighborhood here in Port Clinton afford us as a unit. It really is striking for us. And there's 140, 150 of us, and we feel compelled to express that appreciation. So if I may read the certificate, and then President Kuzman, we'd like to present this to you. Port Clinton, thank you for being a welcoming and patriotic community. Port Security Unit 309 is one of the United States Coast Guard's deployable specialized force elements. We are an expeditionary unit designed to respond to domestic and worldwide port security and harbor defense missions, including operations in response to natural disasters and hazards. PSU 309 is 143 people strong, with dedicated men and women arriving from 15 different states each month to train here in Port Clinton, Ohio. A month does not go by without a kind act or a gesture from our neighbors in the community, and we thank you very much. So we'd like to present this to you.
That's it, sure.
On behalf of the command, thank you, President. Thank you for the community in Port Clinton and all the kindness that we've seen here. So, do you mind if we turn around? Okay. A special community. Thank you for allowing us to be a part
We will for sure hang this in the conference room. Thank you so much for all that you do for our country and for our city.
And thank you for being such a great community.
Thank you.
Let us pay for our lunch once in a while. Take care, God bless.
Hey, thank you.
Good luck. You said.
What a wonderful thing. We have no public comment this evening, and the mayor is not with us. The auditor's report.
Thank you, Madam President. Of course, I have to follow that. The only thing that I have is that I had sent out the September month-end reports, I believe, last Tuesday. If there are any questions or for some reason someone did not receive them, please let me know so that I can forward them appropriately. Thank you.
Thank you. The treasurer's report.
Madam Chairman, my usual bed tax report. The number is now up to $125,197.28. As you know, this is the time of year when we get the most of that. I also want to report that I completed my required training, which I must do each year to invest the city's money. And I completed that so that I was at the conference sponsored by the Ohio Association of Public Treasurers and run by the state treasurer. So I'm good for another year. Thank you.
Thank you. The law director is not with us this evening. The safety service director's report.
Thank you, Madam President. I just wanted to share, brush cleanup started today and will continue tomorrow. It'll be our last day. Hope the weather tomorrow, we're looking at some nasty weather, but hopefully things will clear up enough that Thursday, Friday to be back to mowing. We've laid off the mowing for a little while because of the dryness, but it's time to catch up. And once the brush cleanup ends tomorrow, we'll start to transition towards the leaf cleanup within the next week or so. And, the docks will be coming out sometime between November 3rd and 6th. Tracy's going to work on coordinating that with the chief and Ellis. So that is my report for tonight.
Thank you. And welcome.
Thank you.
The police chief's report.
All I have tonight, Madam President, is I would like to personally welcome Owen Martin as our new Safety Service Director. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you. And the fire chief is attending training. The correspondence, as the auditor stated, he did send out the month-end reports for the period of September 2017. And the laws, rules, and ordinances committee meeting minutes were submitted to council, and those were dated September 26, 2017. Do I have a motion to approve the correspondence as stated?
I'll make that motion.
Mr. Chiroli, thank you. A second. Ms. Phillips? All those in favor?
Aye.
The correspondence stands approved as stated. We'll now move to the readings of ordinances and resolutions. We have no third and no second readings this evening. We'll move to the new readings of ordinances and resolutions. Will the clerk please read by title and summary only? Ordinance 23-17.
Ordinance 23-17, an ordinance to approve 2017 replacement pages to the Fort Clinton codified ordinances and declaring an emergency.
Does council wish to take any action on ordinance 23-17?
Madam President, I move that we approve it this evening. Yes, we should approve 2317 this evening.
And therefore,
We would need to seek the emergency clause.
Gabe was the one that's good about that.
if you're asking me, I would recommend you want to waive the three required readings.
We shall waive, we recommend that you waive 3 required readings.
Have a motion to waive the 3 required readings. A second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Turley. And will the clerk please call the roll?
Gabe Belo,
Yes.
Jerry Trolley,
Yes.
Beth Gilman,
Yes.
Margaret Phillips.
Yes.
Joel Friedman,
Yes.
Lisa Sardi, yes. Roseanne Hickman, absent.
Does council wish to take any further action on ordinance 23-17?
Madam President, I just have one question. Why are we waiving the 3 readings? I hate to put you on the spot, but I didn't know.
I can tell you, it's because usually this has been long taken care of, and these are from April. I'm surprised that we haven't seen it before now, because the transition was this should be in, okay, the books right now without any problem.
Okay, thank you.
For some reason, last year this happened too. It took almost 9 months for those ordinance pages to be approved. I want to make sure that this gets taken care of faster.
Thank you.
Any further discussion? Does council wish to take any further action on ordinance 23-17?
Madam President,
Mr.
make a
Torelli?
motion we adopt ordinance 23. That we retain the emergency clause in ordinance 23-17.
The motion to retain the emergency clause for the second.
We'll second if she won't.
Ms. Phillips, the second,
Yes.
to retain the emergency clause. Any
Yes.
further discussion? Will the clerk please call the roll?
Gabe Belo,
Yes.
Jerry Trolley,
Yes.
Beth Gilman,
Yes.
Margaret Phillips.
Yes.
Joel Friedman,
Yes.
Lisa Sardi, yes. Roseanne Hickman, absent.
Does council wish to take any further action on ordinance 23-17?
Madam President,
Mr. Torelli?
make a motion that we adopt ordinance 23-17.
A motion to adopt ordinance 23-17.
I'll second.
Mrs. Gilman, second. Any further discussion? Will the clerk please call the roll?
Gabe Belo,
Yes.
Jerry Trolley,
Yes.
Beth Gilman,
Yes.
Margaret Phillips.
Yes.
Joel Friedman,
Yes.
Lisa Sardi, yes. Roseanne Hickman, absent.
Ordinance 23-17 has been adopted. We will now move to business from the floor. Mrs. Sardi?
Okay, thank you. I would like to I would like to welcome Mr. Martin. Thank you for attending my Parks and Rec tonight. Also at the Parks and Rec meeting, it was announced that there will be a beautification meeting for the group tomorrow night here at City Hall at 6 p.m.
Absolutely, always. Day and night even.
That will be out, thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Sardi. Mr. Friedman?
Couple-parted question. First one is going to be directed to Olin Martin. Now that we've got, and welcome by the way, but now that we've got the nice new sidewalks down 2nd Street and down Madison Street, I'm looking future reference in maintaining them as well as we can to keep the investment that we're giving. And just wondering if you could possibly look into some sort of program for resealing the sidewalks every couple of years. That way that we're not wasting this amount of money and letting it go, away. The second part of my question goes to Madam President. I was wondering if you could direct laws, rules, and ordinances to take up some sort of initiative to not use rock salt on the new sidewalks, as it does cause pitting and it does, basically ruin concrete. Maybe come up with some sort of way to use a calcium chloride or magnesium chloride, something that's safer for concrete, just so that we can protect the investment that we put into the city, for years to come. That's it for me.
Okay. I will ask Laws, Rules, and Ordinances Committee to look into different alternatives and options that they have within that.
Madam President?
Also moving to infrastructure and to Mr. Velo.
My suggestion was infrastructure, but I don't understand why One thing is for the safety service director, and why this one is closely related, is committee manner. It sounds very similar to what you suggested for the safety service director.
I would assume that the safety service director would have some ability with the mayor and working on a smaller budget. I wouldn't imagine resealing the sidewalks would be a gigantic cost to the city. It'd just be something that they should look into and maybe put on their radar for in a few years. You know, an average sealed sidewalk should last you 2 to 3 years. And obviously they've been freshly sealed, so it's just something for him to look into in the future. Nothing needs to be immediately jumped on, just keeping that with him. As far as the rock salt and the calcium and magnesium, going to bring that up now is we've got winter pretty much fastly approaching. And I'd hate to see some pitting in brand new concrete. It's pretty common. You know, almost every contract that I bid out for snow, sidewalks and everything else are done with magnesium or some sort of calcium chloride. So that's.
So if those are two good options, it sounds like the solutions are there.
Yeah,
Right.
but I would like to see.
I mean, it could snow within a month, right?
No, I would imagine you'd see snow sometime around late December, but the comment being is that if we put something in front of laws, rules, and ordinances, that maybe they can come up with something to help enforce it. I mean, that way we're not just throwing salt on brand new concrete and ruining something that the city's invested a lot of money in.
So you're not just discussing the city's program.
No, I'm talking about like the actual people that are taking care of the sidewalks in front of their businesses. You know, something that we can do to maybe incentivize or something to make that happen. You know, because I think that if they can take care of the sidewalks and we can take care of the sidewalks, they're gonna last a lot longer. So let's just see where we can go with it. Does that answer your question?
Madam President, and that may be something you might want to take to the Main Street Board, because they communicate with the business owners. Because it might not be, we don't want to just enforce, you can't use this or this, but if we educate them and suggest to them
Sure.
that this is what we want this instead
Sure.
of this. Because I'm sure they would do it if they knew
Yeah.
what would happen.
When does that board meet?
The third Thursday of the month. It's next Thursday, I believe. 8:30 in the morning. But I can relay that information to them as well, because I do
If
sit
you
on that
could.
board, and I'll talk
Because I
further with
would
you about that.
not be able to make that meeting.
But I'll discuss that further with you in private and I'll bring that up.
Awesome. I'm gonna send out a group email as well, just so that what I said kind of relays in paper too.
And I would ask that infrastructure and laws, rules, and ordinances both look at options for that.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Madam President.
Thank you, Mr. Friedman, and for everyone's comments. Ms. Phillips?
Thank you, Madam President. I discovered this evening that the new safety service director and I have crossed paths in the past. We've spent some time trying to figure out where, so I guess we'll have less of a learning curve there. Downtown is coming along beautifully. I was down there again and talking with the guys, and they said that we're nearing the end, and they're trying to complete the corner, especially at Madison and Perry, because they're running some problems. But it's coming along, and it looks so nice. People just, they just don't throw cigarette butts in the street and that sort of thing. We'll all be happy. Trash, don't need that either. And that's about it. I just really think things are coming along, and we're winding our way toward a lovely fall. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Ms. Phillips. Mrs. Gilman? Thank you. I just wanted to remind everybody the fall cleanup down to, or at Waterworks Park is the 14th, that's happening. Our last meeting was mentioned, but it's been a little bit. And I wanted to thank Mr. Hatfield. He answered some questions back and forth with me earlier this week. It was very helpful information. He's always right on task, getting back to me quickly. And also Mr. Pipley and the mayor addressed a couple of concerns I had. Welcome, Mr. Martin. I'm sure I'll be bothering you too. And just wanted to update, there's so much going on in the city, the bridge closure, which we're all aware of. The 20th is Project Connect that's happening at the Sutton Center. It's a one-day event for safety and services for the community. It's a great event. They've got a Facebook page. You can read more about it. I would encourage all to attend or recommend family members to attend.
various paperwork you might need to bring to that event. So if you get on their site, get on their Facebook, call them. You can look that information up. I do have, there's a whole list of stuff going on, but our local publications advertise that as well. So that's it, Madam President.
Thank you, Mrs. Gilman. Mr. Chiroli?
Yeah, a couple items, Madam President. First, the emergency services meeting is next Tuesday, 10/17 at 5:30 here at City Hall. Welcome, Mr. Martin.
Thanks, sir.
Now I'm gonna lay something on you. This is your first day, and you probably won't be happy with me. But Lakeshore Drive sewers, and the sewer coming in from originally BFI landfill, and now Republic landfill. Do you have any idea what's going on there?
I do.
I mean, we are losing quite a bit of money from the BFI sewer tapping into our system. I know it's been discussed for years. Last I was told, Mr. Wilbur's working on the contract. Well, that's been 2 months. I mean, that's just some funding coming into the city that we could use. I think it's been worked on long enough, in my opinion, but it's just me. So maybe if you could look into those?
That is actually something that is on my radar. I'm aware of the issue that we're waiting for a response so that we can get that moving forward, because I know that is a loss of revenue for the city.
I mean, I was even, I don't mean to interrupt,
No,
I'm
you're
sorry.
fine, go ahead.
I was even told that they were even looking towards Oak Harbor. I mean, if we lose that kind of money, it's just, you know? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chiroli. I do know that Mr. Wilbur has that contract and the information regarding that. And that he's been working on it ongoing.
Thank you, Madam President.
You're welcome. Mr. Belo?
Thank you, Madam President. The regularly scheduled Finance Committee meeting of October 17th at 6:30 will take place here at City Hall. Council, I had briefed you last time, I think, on the potential CRA agreement for the hotel project on East Perry Street. The travel lodge, that work continues. I don't have any further update, but it's still a live opportunity for the city. It would be a great thing if it happens. Mr. Martin, welcome. Last time when you were here, you were out in the audience. I don't think you didn't get to tell us about yourself. Could you do that? Not to put you on the spot, but I don't think that was an opportunity you were given last time, so that might be nice.
I appreciate it. Thank you, sir.
Thanks.
I am a 31-year public servant from law enforcement. I resided here in Ottawa County full-time for in 2010 and 2011. I was a member of the Sheriff's Office and left here to pursue an offer with the Lorain County Sheriff's Office. And I'm happy to be back. I've been in Ottawa County literally since I was 6 weeks old. My family, my dad was involved with Bay Point in the very, very early years in the 60s at Bay Point, and I've spent my time most every summer here my entire life. And when I left Ottawa County in 2011, it was not because I wanted to leave, it was because of the circumstance with my employer and his situation, not mine. So I'm happy to be back. I'm excited about the challenge. I'm looking forward to working here and making Fort Clinton my full-time home again. And we'll be working toward that transition to make that happen within the next couple months. So I'm excited to be here. It's been a great first day. It helps having met people before, and I look forward to it. And I'm a very open door type of guy, so I invite people, if you need something from me or you have a question, please contact me. I'll be happy to do what I can and resolve any issues. It's encapsulated towards the clubhouse.
That was good. Thanks.
Thanks.
Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Mr. Belo. Seeing no further business?
Madam President, I move that this August body adjourn.
Second?
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.